and welcome to another exciting episode of the Click Nation's Comic Book Chronicles.
That was mistimed.
Yeah, let's see. There we go. He's a little rusty, people. I am your host, Tim DLGG. And I'm joined by Dirt from PopCultureNetwork.com.
Yay! Woohoo!
And we also have back from his special mission, Agent_70 on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
I want to let everyone know that you can go to theclicknation.com to find previous episodes of the Comic Book Chronicles and comic book reviews. Follow us on Twitter at theclicknation. Like the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/theclicknation. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/theclicknation. Subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Add us to your circles on Google+. And if you ever have any feedback you want to have read on a future show, send that on over to theclicknation@gmail.com.
Don't forget to hashtag us. Hashtag Comic Book Chronicles.
Indeed. And also make sure to... That's what else I was going to plug. Oh, yes, make sure to join the show live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned to theclicknation.com to see when the post goes up.
Yeah, you're a little late today.
Yeah. I've been on time the last month, so I figured I could afford to be tardy. No guests this week, so it's just us three. Oh, and we're missing our other host at RoddyCat on Twitter, and follow his news Twitter account at NewsNerdsNeed. So, with that out the way, let's take a look at what comic book news came out this following week. So, there was some more Captain America: The Winter Soldier TV spots, and apparently one of them might have contained spoilers for the movie. It's only a question of actually do we want to mention those spoilers or not. And I'm not going to.
Why not?
You can spoil it.
I didn't see it.
Oh, I guess I won't spoil it then if Tim won't spoil it.
It concerns what might happen to a cast member.
Which one?
So we'll let that marinate. The one of the non-Caucasian ones. Yep, make you wonder. Next up we have, so of course we all know about Marvel's Netflix series that they plan to launch in 2015 with Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, which will all lead into a Defenders series. Marvel also announced that the majority of the filming for those series will take place in New York City.
Yay!
Bringing economy and jobs and whatnot to the New York area.
And some authenticity to boot.
Yes. And actually, I guess today they aired the press conference live for it. I haven't watched it, but
I saw a picture of Governor Cuomo and Quesada, and I'm not sure who else was in the photo, but I definitely saw a photo of that floating around online today. So that's pretty good. And like I said, it definitely brings some authenticity to these shows, because there's nothing like seeing the actual streets of New York in the show. So
wait, so they're actually filming in the city of New York City proper?
that's my understanding. I mean, there's whatchamacallit, there's sound stages all over the place in the city, but they're going to be using the streets as the backdrop.
They did a press conference with the governor, but not the mayor. So they're like, oh, you're going to film in the city. You want the mayor to come? Nah, I don't think so.
The mayor may have been in the picture too. I don't know.
The governor can be there. That's okay. But do you want the mayor there? I don't know. No.
I won't say anything because I'm not 100% sure that the mayor was there, but he may have been.
Yeah, they made him sit in back.
To the back with you.
A little late on that one. Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to laugh at that.
Or cry. All right.
Along with the Guardians of the Galaxy motion picture coming out later this year, Marvel Comics is trying to capitalize by featuring some of its stars in various series. One of them will be Rocket Raccoon getting his own ongoing series, written and drawn by Skottie Young.
Good for Rocket.
Good for Rocket.
Would you say, Dirt?
Is it going to be like an all ages book?
The way he described it in the interview, at least the earliest one I saw this morning, was so like a little bit of like Looney Tunes with adventure. But I know the premise of the series is he's a wanted raccoon. I was gonna say wanted man, but he's not a man. He's wanted for something, so I guess that's the premise of the book. This will be my first time actually reading a Skottie Young drawn comic. The only time I've ever seen him do stuff is just covers.
What did he work on before? With sequential art?
He was doing the Marvel Wizard of Oz books.
Oh, okay.
And they had like 5 or 6 different miniseries in that.
So I'm actually looking forward to this book. Something, as much as I'm a fan of Marvel continuity and stuff all connecting together, I do enjoy, just books off by themselves doing their own thing. Let's see. Right. DC had some news. First up being the current creative team on Wonder Woman. What's the artist name? Chang?
Bernard Chang.
Bernard Chang. No, isn't that a Green Lantern Corps artist? The artist and writer currently.
Cliff Chang, maybe?
Yeah, Cliff Chang.
There you go.
Is it Brian Azzarello?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, the writer. They're both going to be leaving Wonder Woman later this year, I think in the spring. And taking over will be the current Forever Evil artist David Finch with his wife doing the writing.
No kidding.
So it'll be a like every 3 months book?
Ah!
We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, I like his artwork, but it always seems like whenever he tries to do a regular monthly title, he gets like 3 or 4 issues out, and then they have to start finding subs because it takes so long.
I'm wondering if it's going to be like basically the Marvel method of let's launch this book with this creative team, and then like after the 3 or 4 issues, the artist leaves and someone else takes his place.
And they just don't say anything?
Because basically that's what he did on Justice League. He launched Justice League of America, and he was on for like 3 or 4 issues, and that was it.
Oh, well.
But then with his wife being the writer, I don't know how that'll work. Maybe that'll keep him on it longer. But one various news outlet...
Or get him out sooner.
One various news outlet was speculating that... they're going to try to tie the Wonder Woman, closer to how she's being, I guess, written in the Justice League comic, and how she may be portrayed in the whatever the Superman Man of Steel sequel is going to be called.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot she's in that. Yeah.
Yep. Which would make sense because the Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang book has kind of been off on its own, doing its own thing with the gods and whatnot. So that is that. And last bit of DC news is, so was it every fall? I think it's in September, to commemorate the New 52, DC likes to have a monthly special where last year it was the Annoying Villains Month books, which trying to read all those books got me so backlogged that I'm still haven't caught up on my monthly readings for all the companies. And then there was the zero issue books. So this year they're gonna do 5 years later, where every DC comic is gonna jump ahead 5 years. And supposedly someone told me that these are possible futures. So like every one of them these futures may not happen. And I had a little, I had a, I don't know if that's accurate or not.
I wish that was a sound effect.
If they were just moving them 5 years ahead, like every book is now 5 years in the future, and like that's the gimmick of the DC universe, is that it's just slightly in the future, and then that way they can always have some kind of funky technology or something, and they can always just be like, well, because it's a few years in the future, you never know. Then I'd be okay with it, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We'll see where that goes. But when it's like, hey, we're going ahead for a month, and then we're going back to normal, then it becomes just one of those stupid like DC 1 million. Or any of those type things where it's always like, who cares?
That's what I said.
I went into a short rant earlier this evening about it. The whole thing is, when they launched the New 52, they were like, all the DC Universe and the heroes have been around for 5 years, and sticking to that 5 years got them in so much continually trouble trying to... How many Robins has Batman had in 5 years?
Right.
Superman died and came back to life in 5 years. So now they're once again sticking to this 5 years and trying to jump ahead. So basically, in comic book time, everyone knows comic book time and real world time aren't the same. So 5 years comic book time is like 20 years in our time.
If that.
So trying to jump ahead that much time in comic book time, like, Batman should be like, it should be like the Batman Beyond universe, basically, by that point.
They should have just said, 16th Robin.
Yeah, they should have just said, we're jumping ahead to the future, you're slightly ahead into the future. Don't give it the specific time frame. Because I don't know.
Yep, that's about right.
And then and it's going to lead into a third weekly comic that they haven't revealed what that's going to be yet. So,
yeah, although they basically said that they're dumping a lot of single ongoing series. You know, they were trying to stick to that whole 52. You have to have 52 titles because it's the new 52 and blah blah blah. And they dumped a bunch of those, and they're like, okay, well that's kind of why we're doing these weekly things instead of trying to grab random characters and do an ongoing series. They're going to do more of these weekly type series that focus on a particular character or a particular storyline, instead of trying to go through the roster and be like, Booster Gold, he gets a series now, or some random, who's that in the background of Wonder Woman number 12? Okay, they get a series, instead of doing that, they're just going to be like, okay, let's use this as an opportunity to try to let people be creative and put together a little story.
If that's the case, I can get with that if that's the case, because I'd like to see like 4 issue, aka a month's worth of like a Blue Beetle story arc, and then jump to insert another random character that doesn't have a book anymore. Jonah Hex, since All Star Western's getting canceled, and whatnot.
Or to even take some of the characters and do crossovers and do that as a 4-issue weekly series. I think when you do something like that and you make it a weekly, then it seems more special because it's not drawn out as long. Like the whole Forever Evil. Like at its core, Forever Evil is a good story, but it's just taken so long to get it out. I think once it's done, you sit down with the trade and you read the story at one point, it's okay. But just the way that it just feels like it takes so long for that book to come out. It's been forever.
Yeah. Okay. And I think the last bit of news Agent 70 had.
Oh, he's muted. He's not even paying attention. He's like watching hockey or something.
I'm trying to pull up the announcement because I do get emails from Reed Pop. I want to have that ready as well as the news stories that were put out on Monday. That Reed Pop is putting out a new comic book convention called Special Edition NYC. It's going to be at the Jacob Javits Center, the convention center that already hosts New York Comic Con. And the inaugural Special Edition NYC is going to take place on June 14th and 15th at Javits Center North. That is, I want to say it's a Saturday and a Sunday, so it's a 2-day show. Tickets right now are for kids $5, Saturday and Sunday $30 each. The VIP tickets are already sold out.
And the whole point of this is that it's just comics. Like, it's not actors from Firefly and the Fonz and Iron Sheik. Like, this will just be straight comic book stuff.
Right. And that is, it's a pretty good, it's a nice spotlight to have on comics because New York Comic Con really has grown into maybe not nearly as big as San Diego, but something comparable. And maybe this is just a shout out to the people who really just want to see the creators and meet them and get signatures from them and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. They just posted a spotlight creator, Tony Daniel, who does Action Comics. There's already a host of names that we would be all familiar with, such as
Superman, Wonder Woman.
Oh well, no, but they have Action Comics under his name. I'm actually looking at the Special Edition NYC page. They're probably slow on the update. Brian Wood, Charles Soule, David Peterson of Mouse Guard, Greg Pak, Frank Cho, and someone who I know Tim Dog is going to be excited to hear, Ryan Stegman.
Yes, I was waiting for you to say his name. Say his name!
I jumped all the way down to that because I figured if I do go, I'm going to have to get something for Tim Dog from Ryan Stegman.
Actually, get something from him and Greg Pak for me.
Greg Pak and I are old buddies by now. I see him at most of these shows.
Yeah, I like him.
He's like, oh, great, there's that stalker.
Yeah, seriously.
So I wonder. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a big crowd for that. I'll be interested to see what the turnout is.
Sure. I'm surprised it's not already sold out the way New York Comic Con sold out so fast.
Had they even put the tickets available for that yet, though?
For New York?
No, this.
Yeah, it's already. I mentioned it in the introduction. The VIP tickets are already sold out.
That's VIP tickets.
Yeah, the VIP tickets were. Let me tell you what the offer was. It's a weekend ticket and more. So it's like for both days, and you get the VIP package is. Give me a second. You get a badge, exclusive artwork, early access. You get a T-shirt. No, you get a poster signed by the artist that does the actual poster. They haven't posted that yet. And a variant comic book. It's already sold out. It was $100 for 2 days.
Nice. And some non-comic book news. The WWE NXT network launched this week. One of our hosts is a subscriber.
Yeah, and what?
What do you think?
So far the network's okay. There are, obviously some hiccups. It's brand new. It's been hammered. There's no official word on how many people signed up, but at least 500,000, maybe 750,000 people signed up for at least the free week. And we'll see how many of them stick around and how many more they gain towards WrestleMania. But the way they have it set up is they basically have two different services running at the same time. And the first service is kind of like Netflix of WWE material. You can go in and watch old pay-per-views. You can go in and watch selected episodes of like ECW, Hardcore TV, or world-class championship wrestling, or recaps of Raw and SmackDown and that kind of stuff. But then they also have a second part of the service, which is basically like a live TV channel. So when you turn on that feed, you basically get a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week streaming feed where they'll play like a match from an old pay-per-view, and then they'll go into like an interview with somebody, and then there'll be a 5-minute promo from one of the wrestlers like responding to tweets and emails, and then they'll do like a documentary where Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are sitting down talking about the Montreal Screwjob and everything. And like a lot of the stuff is from the old DVD library, stuff that they released on home video, over the years, and they've kind of selected certain parts of it out and repackaged it into a half-hour show or a 1-hour special or something like that. But then they have a lot of new stuff just kind of slipped in between with new interviews and some backstage stuff and all of that kind of stuff. So my interest is really in the old stuff. So I've watched some of the live feed and just kind of watch the channel like a traditional network. But then the thing that I really like is going in and watching the old shows, the old pay-per-views. I was watching Starrcade 91, just going through watching old WCW and things like that. There are some hiccups, like they say it's available on Roku, but it's only available on certain Roku boxes, and of course not the Roku box I have. You'd have to have a newer model Roku to make it work, but it works on my PlayStation 3, no problem. It works on my Xbox 360. It works on my tablet. I've got a Kindle Fire. It's working on no problem. It's working on my other tablets, no problem. The one issue you kind of have is if you pull up like an old pay-per-view and you want to like fast forward through it, you go about halfway through or whatever, and then it kind of gets stuck in that loading where it says loading forever, and then it just drops the signal and you got to try it again. And that happens sometimes on Netflix and things like that too. So, but so far it's pretty slick. It runs pretty well. You have the ability, like when a show is playing, if you turn on the network and you're like 5-10 minutes late and you turn on that live channel, it asks you if you want to start at the beginning of the show instead of just picking up 5-10 minutes in, whatever. So that's kind of nice. And it's kind of one of those things where it kind of feels like there's a TiVo built in, even though it's their streaming service. So for $9.99 a month, it actually seems like a pretty good deal. I mean, that's like $2.50 a week. That's less than your average comic book a week to get it. And even if you're only interested in the old stuff, there's a lot of old stuff on there right now. So far, I'd say I'm pretty happy with it.
Cool. And of course, while we're recording, they're airing, I guess, their first pay-per-view on the network, the NXT Arrival, and I was seeing a bunch of complaining tweets that people's feeds froze before the main event started.
Oh.
It's all like backboned by the same people that do the MLB network. And I've heard a lot of people say that on the MLB network, like on the first week of the baseball season, they have a lot of these issues because everyone's going in and everyone's trying to watch everything on the MLB streaming service. So they figure a lot of this stuff is going to happen right now, and that's part of the reason why they did it now, several weeks before WrestleMania, because then they can kind of like, okay, well, now we know. Yeah, well, like we have an idea, this is how many people we have, and we're having problems, so now we can throw more infrastructure in and try to, pad it up a little bit more and do some of these specials to try to test and break the network to see what it takes to keep it going.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up, because, this is their sort of, test drive of the network before WrestleMania, so
this
don't
is
be
a free
too
week.
discouraged.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to go in and sign up now, it's free through, I think, Sunday night. So you basically sign up, and then you just have to cancel on Sunday night if you don't want to keep it.
So I need to sign up tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, that's news. Let's get into some reviews. Let's start with the end of the Ultimate CATACLYSM, Ultimate's Last Stand, number 5.
Oh, I need to pull up the cover.
Yes, you do.
Forget about that. I forget I have a job.
But while he gets that ready, so the Ultimate Universe has been invaded by Galactus from the 616 universe, and he's hungry. He must feed.
He's hungry. I'm hungry.
I don't think that's his voice. I mean, that could be his voice, but I really don't think that's the voice of Galactus.
So I would have figured Dirt would have read this.
I did read it.
Oh, you just didn't put it on your list. Cool.
Oh, I didn't? Yeah, I did. I wrote Cataclysm 5. I didn't type out the whole long title.
So, as we know, the Ultimate Universe didn't end, and they defeated Galactus, even though that was a question mark for me in my review on declicknation.com. Speaking of which, I like that Paul Cornell, the writer of Wolverine, actually responded to my tweet when I tweeted out my review link. We'll get to that later, though, because I actually don't agree with what he said. You don't know if he was joking or not.
Should we spoil how they beat Galactus? Does it matter?
I don't think it matters since everyone knows the universe is going on anyway.
Okay, so they basically open a portal to the negative zone, and they go to shove Galactus in, and of course Thor comes up to basically push him through and have that last big punch, and Thor gets sucked in with Galactus, and the door shuts. So they're basically able to get rid of Galactus, but they basically have to send Thor through with him in order to get rid of him. So Thor and Galactus are just kind of floating in this darkness of the negative zone forever.
Where Annihilus is. I love it.
Although, is the ultimate negative
zone the same negative zone?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
It has to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Could someone in the regular 616 universe go, oh, we need to open that portal to the negative zone to go back to that hidden prison we have there, and suddenly there's Galactus staring at him?
I'm pretty sure that's probably what's going to happen.
Although if Ultimate Thor comes out in the regular 616 universe, how much do you think regular Thor is going to like him?
Very little.
I like that. I like how they use Kitty Pryde. That it made sense. Her power set disrupts. I guess
to the machines.
Yeah, destroy his machine.
So that's why I said, even though they say dead means dead in the Ultimate Universe, we don't really know. We don't know if Thor is dead. Same with Captain America. I don't care if they just pick up a shield at the end of the comic. Where's his body?
I think. Well, I mean, the only thing you could say with Captain America is maybe he wasn't dead, and some writer's going to have him like laying in a hospital in a coma for a couple of years, and maybe he'll snap out of it. But Thor is obviously not dead. He's just in the negative zone. I think it would take more than a trip through the negative zone to kill Thor.
Absolutely.
I don't
know. They didn't want to have a dead body laying on a comic book cover, I suppose.
My
inside the book.
Yeah, my big issue with the series, though, is that, I mean, of course they teased the world was going to end, and you thought they were going to cancel the Ultimate Universe, because that's kind of what it looked like, and, a lot of people said that it's just not selling as well as it used to, so it kind of made sense that they would cancel it, and on and on and on. And then you find out halfway through the series that they're not canceling it, and in fact it's going to continue, and there are new books coming out. And so they wrap up this story with just basically Galactus and Thor go through this hole, the hole closes, and everyone goes, phew, we made it. And it's like the end. Like there's no wrap up. You don't have 4 pages at the end of 6 months later or a month later, or the cleanup, or the funeral for Captain America, or anything like that. It's just kind of like, okay, that's done.
Well, it's sort of like a typical Bendis event where it ends, but it leads to the next story. There's no official ending, because after this ends, we have the one-shot Survive, where you actually get the funeral of Captain America and all the heroes reflecting and reacting to what just happened to them, leading into the all new Ultimate Universe.
The all new Ultimate Marvel Now.
Yes.
And I saw that Ultimate Fantastic Four is coming back.
Ultimate FF.
Ultimate. Yeah. So you're gonna have
it's not Fantastic Four. It's the FF. So it's almost like the Ultimate Future Foundation.
Yeah, Ultimate FF and the Ultimates. The Ultimate Ultimates, or not sure how they're doing that. But
are they called the All New Ultimates? I think that's what they're called.
The All New Ultimates now. I don't know.
I love it.
But it's just one of those things where I liked the story more than I disliked it, but I got to the end and I still felt kind of let down that that was it. It's like when you're watching a movie and it's like something happens and it's like they shoot the bad guy and everyone goes whew, and then the credits roll and you're like, wait, that's it? I mean, that's kind of what this felt like. Like, we're at the credits already? Like this. It just felt like there should have been more of a wrap-up at the end of this series. And I know they're doing a one-shot to kind of tie that up, but, I mean, that one-shot is not part of this series. So this series should have handled a lot more of that. So.
Dirt wanted resolution.
I did.
This is comics, though.
So, well, it's comics. That means you can go back and change it later.
True enough.
That's what that means.
So which all new Ultimate book are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I don't know. Is Ultimate Spider-Man continuing, or is it ending when he joins?
Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, is that what they're calling it? Okay. Yes. Well, it'll be that one then.
It's only 3 books. The FF book is replacing the X-Men book on the line in the publishing line.
Yeah.
So once again, the mutants get shafted, just like in the. I kid.
Good riddance. No,
hey.
I get the Ultimate books now. I'll keep getting them. I mean, it's only 3, so I'll still read them until they do something incredibly stupid that pisses me off, and then I'll drop them. But for now, I'm okay.
Yep. Okay. Anyone else want to throw the next book out to talk about?
Let's see. Well, I'll throw out one, something that I talked about when the first issue came out, saying what's up to Alyssa Milano out there. Shout out to Alyssa Milano, who's the boss. Hacktivist number 2. And I'm sad to say that I was kind of disappointed in the sophomore effort in the second issue, because I don't think it had the same energy that the first issue had, and it seemed to, there were definitely a few interesting plot twists, especially with this, just very quickly, this group of kind of secret do-gooder hackers who run a social networking site, basically become enlisted and join forces with the U.S. government to kind of hack their way into social and political change, but it all goes terribly wrong in this issue. There's definitely a good level of intrigue. I would recommend this book to someone who is looking for something a little deeper than the usual superhero fare. I think you have to have read the first issue in order to understand this issue, which is always a downer. But at the same time, I believe it's a 4-issue series, so it makes sense that you would have had to read the first issue to understand this one. The art was very good, definitely well above average. I just think that the energy that was in the first issue just was not there this issue. I think this is much more story-based, and it wasn't nearly as fun as the first issue. But I'm interested to see where the third issue goes. Go ahead.
Well, do you think that's because it's a 4-issue series that you have your book 1 is establishing, your book 2 kind of gives more tone and background, and then in book 3 you have some sort of confrontation and how will they ever get out of this, and then book 4 resolves everything.
Right. Towards the end of book 2, you start to get the beginnings of book 3, that the confrontation part of that arc. So you start to see it happening. So like I said, it's not surprising that we're getting to that point now, but at the same time, I kind of missed that. The reason why I enjoyed the first issue so much was that there definitely was a good energy to it.
So I just tweeted at Miss Milano that we were reviewing her
All right.
number 2
Nice.
right now.
Nice.
Also, put Agent 70's personal phone number in that also, just in case she wants to get a hold of him for whatever
That's
reason.
right. Holla.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's see. Let me pick a book. A book that I remember Dirt enjoying the first issue when it first came out. Deadly Class number 2.
Oh.
So this issue.
What? You mean it's not My Little Pony?
Put that down right now. So with the issue number 2, we pick up with Marcus, the lead character. His first day at the School of Assassins. He meets I'm not sure, I forget who the character is, like the dean, I guess, over the school. So he gets to run down, and you go through each of his classes. Like, I think one of them was beheading. Like period number 2 was like beheading. Class number 1 was the psychology of assassinating or assassinations. One was how to make like poison serums was another class, and then like all the different cliques in the school. And it basically was sort of like mirroring how you can go to like a regular high school or a high school where everyone is training to be an assassin. Everything's still the same. People will pick on you because you're the new kid, or think certain things of you.
Do they have a prom in the Deadly Class?
Hopefully they do. Maybe that's like issue 10.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, there's just the first day for him. But and see, I guess Remender has put out issue 3 preview early, so I need to check that out.
Yeah, actually, they sent that to us this week. So.
And he even mentioned it like in the last page of the book, where he sort of spends a page talking about the book and the reception. I will also need to mention the artist Wesley Craig.
Yep.
I enjoyed his art a lot more in the second issue than I did the first. The first issue it seemed like he took more risk as far as like the layouts of the panels, which I actually enjoyed. But he did that a couple times this issue, but not as much as in the first. But it was sort of more of a traditional style comic as far as the layouts, but it seemed like I'm not sure, I can't remember if he did the inking and art and colors himself or someone else did the colors, but it seemed like everything is a little more tighter this time around. But yes, that's Deadly Class number 2.
Cool.
Pick one, Dirt.
Okay. I'm going to jump over to Star Trek. Why not? Star Trek 30. One of the things that I really love about this comic series is that it's being overseen by the executive producer of the movies. So all the stories, they keep saying that these stories count. Like, these are real.
Nice.
Because obviously the movies
in
can
canon.
only come out. Yeah, they're canon. The movies can only come out so often, so they use this to kind of, fill the time in between. And in the last issue, you saw a Star Trek universe where all the male characters have become female and all the female characters have become male. And they find this like anomaly in space, and of course, they're there to explore, so they go to check it out, and they get pulled into it, and the Enterprise comes head-to-head with the Enterprise, which is, of course, the one from the movies with Christopher Pike and everybody else with the regular characters. And so you have the male versions and the female versions basically staring off at each other when the last issue ended. So in this one, they actually, come together. They, send a team to the other ship, and they're, trying to figure out what's going on and why they're there. And what they realize is they're in some sort of nexus of all the realities. And so suddenly this, whatever this anomaly is, it starts to collapse. And as it collapses, other time streams, other parallel universes start to like merge with it. So at one point, you've got Kirk from the Mirror Mirror original episode appears to attack them. At one point, you've got Klingons in Starfleet uniforms, basically yelling at them, "Why are you on our ship?" and attacking them. At one point, Geordi LaForge from Next Generation appears on the ship, like trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So it really was, it's one of those for the fan type stories. Like, this is a fan service type of book where they're kind of doing that, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hope you're all enjoying the ride and having a good time. But at the same time, I thought they did a really good job with the way the relationships between, when you see a parallel version of yourself, it's like you see your double. And we've seen that happen so many times, where Kirk meets evil Kirk or Spock meets evil Spock, and that kind of stuff. But then when they actually, like, they're looking at each other like, okay, well, we're the same person. We have the same, basically the same background. We have the same feelings about stuff, but society treats us differently because of being male or female, and all that kind of stuff. It was just a neat way to explore a way of doing the parallel universe type stuff, which you really can't do on regular TV. I mean, like, I don't think they're going to do an episode of the movie where they have everybody in drag, so it was an interesting way of adding something different to that idea of the parallel universes, and at the same time, paying homage to all these different characters and all the Star Trek that came before. So I really enjoyed it.
Star Trek.
So there you go.
Cool.
All right, let me see what is the one I want to pick. Uncanny Avengers number 17.
Interesting. I did read that, so we can. So that's okay. We can. Did you read it, Doug?
No, I haven't read Uncanny Avengers in a long time.
All right.
It's a
So
big
we can
Remender.
at least talk about this. Yeah.
I just now noticed that a lot of Remender books. So, kind of spoiler. Try to see what I want to spoil or not. Yes, give the little spoiler read. Yeah.
There's a lot to spoil in this book too.
So, surprise, the Earth's gone.
Yep. I'm like, wait. So when do the other books take place?
This
Right?
thing's been out of continuity with everything else anyway.
Right.
Don't worry about continuity. Just enjoy this book for its awesomeness. So we finally have the Apocalypse twins, or twin, because I guess the other one got killed by Thor last issue. I kind of forgot that. Eamon, the sister, is the surviving twin, and the Celestial is about to try to destroy the Earth in retribution for the Apocalypse twins killing the Celestial back probably like 8 issues ago,
Right.
or whenever it happened. And the heroes of Earth and Doctor Doom, for some reason, decide to try to stop it. I still say that was a Doom bot. I don't know if I just can't see Doom working with the heroes like that. But anyway, they fail. The Celestial blows up the Earth, but the mutants all were raptured onto the Apocalypse Twins arc, I suppose. So now we get our Planet X storyline, which will take place next. And actually, they said that's like the fake name of it. It's actually called, like, I forget what the official title of the next arc is called. Remender said they called it Planet X so they could like hide so they wouldn't spoil the ending to this arc, the Ragnarok now. So the only surviving members of this Unity team of Avengers are Wasp, Havoc, Thor, Wolverine, and Sunfire, I guess. Yeah, because he should have got raptured. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to wonder. When I was reading this, like I said, I was just trying to wonder when this is happening. Why, like, when did all this happen? And and spoiler alert, Cap gets gutted like a fish. I was very disappointed by that, but what can you do? We'll see where this goes. There's definitely there's definitely some juice in this book. After how many issues was it of just kind of slow burn?
It's been a couple.
And now the last few issues have definitely they ramped up the excitement level. So I'm kind of curious to see where this goes from here. Now that the Earth is gone supposedly.
I like that a villain won, even though we know this isn't going to last,
right?
Because of all this time jumping and alternate the Kane's Chronos Core going to get involved and whatnot.
Yeah. There's going to be anytime there's Kang is involved, especially in more recent times, there's going to be some time traveling business. With things things changing on the fly. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
How about I pick a book? Did anyone here read Aquaman number 28?
Not yet.
Dirt?
Yes, actually I did.
I enjoyed this book immensely.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was actually just thinking about this book a moment ago as I was flipping through stuff. I'm trying to find the cover here. I haven't read Aquaman regularly since really the debut in the New 52. Like, I read the first arc and then I just kind of let it fall to the side, and I figured I'd get back to it eventually. But with all the shakeups going on in the last few issues, I kind of got back into it. And
right.
I sat down to read this one, and this was kind of what I really wanted for a long time, because it dealt with his personal life,
right,
in a really fun and amusing way.
Sure.
Plus it has the beginnings of a huge conflict brewing,
right,
in the ocean.
Right.
Plus there's some sort of mystery with a side character and something else that happens on the last page of the book that's one of those
right.
dun 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 for next month. And I was like, this is really good.
Yes.
Like,
I give this book a lot of credit. I definitely think Paul Pelletier's art sells this book for me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I thought the story, like you said, did a lot to sell and develop the character to me. It's like, yes, Aquaman talks to the fishes, but this particular issue, I think, sold the character to me a lot more than any of the other ones. Even though the art has been consistently good, I think this issue sold the Aquaman character to me way more than even Johns' run on this book.
Well, I like the fact. He goes to his high school reunion.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't want to spoil everything, but.
Well, yeah, I'll say that.
Okay.
He goes to his high school reunion.
Yeah, but who knows what year that was, because it's what happened 5 years ago? For God's sake, when did he graduate?
Well, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. But the point is, he goes to the reunion, and this is only like maybe 7 or 8 pages of the overall story, so it's not like it's the whole book.
Right.
But
there's definitely other arcs, other stories developing.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's a lot really going on in this book when you break it down. But when he goes to his high school reunion, you have the stories of flashbacks to what it was like for him as a kid, and what it was like growing up, and what it was like discovering his powers. At the same time, giving you this overview of the city where he lives, because everybody from his high school, it's a small town,
right.
Nobody really moved away, so you still get this sense of where he lives and what it's currently like in that town, and it makes you feel like, even though these are mostly characters that you may never see again, there are still a few that he interacts with in such an interesting way that it feels like this is a living town. Like, this does feel alive, like he's in a real world. And I like when they can do something that's in the current time period. Like, it's not just all flashbacks, but the way he's interacting with them, and the story of kind of like, well, what's the deal with that guy? And he has to kind of tell the story, gives you those moments from his past I just really enjoyed that. And this is one of those books where I quickly read it because we were going to be doing the show tonight, but probably what I'll do is I'll sit down sometime in the next couple of weeks with maybe the last 2 issues that lead up to this and just sit down and read them all together in a row. Like, I just really enjoyed this a lot.
I've been reading this book for the last couple of months. Like I said, the Pelletier art really draws me in. It's so sharp and well done. But as you said, the flashbacks being told as reminiscing, reminisces at the high school reunion was really effective.
Mm-hmm.
And
the way, I think it also helps in the way that a lot of the ways that the people treat him, like they're coming up to him and asking, well, do you remember like one time we were out at sea and our boat was going to crash and you came and you dragged us to safety?
No, something happened. Was that you? That's what it was. Yeah.
And the way you see how people perceive him as a character.
Right.
Because the way that they look at him as a character.
Well, they knew him before he was a king, so that sort of informs their perspective.
And he's kind of blown away by they're almost treating him the same way as they would treat Superman, in the sense of like, hey, you saved my life, or hey, you saved my cousin, or whatever, that kind of stuff. And for him, it's that whole he's a hero without thinking he's a hero. He just goes out and does what needs to be done. So I think that really also helped the character, because he really does come across as likable, but also as very powerful. And the way he needs to be, someone that you actually pay attention to. So.
Sure. Yeah, no, I definitely give this issue a lot of high marks.
Yeah, this is really good.
I've been reading Aquaman probably for good. I guess earlier last year I started reading it, so I've been, I have a good run going, and I wasn't crazy so far with what Jeff Parker was doing on the last 2 issues previous to this one, and plus Paul, how you say it, Pelletier was had someone else helping him on art, so it was jumping back and forth with art, and I wasn't crazy about that. But I see he drew the entire issue, so, and it sounds like it was a fun issue if it had the much heralded class reunion in it, so. I will be reading it this week.
It was fun. I definitely recommend it. It's definitely up there for a click of the week for me.
Yeah, well, and especially the part at the high school reunion. Like, what came to my mind is when you watch like an episode of Psych, where it's funny, but it's not like laugh out loud funny. It's funny, like endearing and enjoyable. And that's how this came across. Like, you're not going to be like slapping your leg, ha ha ha, as you're reading this book, but I mean, you're definitely amused by it and endeared to it.
I was about to say, I think it definitely holds special meaning. Granted, the target audience for comics now skews a lot older than it used to. So there's probably more than just me reading this who've already, in the audience who've already gone to a high school reunion or 4. So, So there were definitely a few jokes in there, a few bits and moments that struck a little bit close to home. But I definitely appreciated it, and like I said, very enjoyable issue, very humanizing issue, and very this was a real character developing issue for Aquaman, more so than I think I've ever read an Aquaman book to be.
Not since the first issue, really.
Right. And like I said, give him a lot of credit. I give Parker a lot of credit for taking it in this direction.
Yeah. Agreed.
Nice. Yeah, you guys got me excited to read Aquaman again.
Cool.
Our job here is done. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Hey, you know me. I'm the Marvel guy through and through. But honestly, of the DC books, I think Aquaman and Batman are probably the strongest ones.
Yeah, I've kind of been thinking about. It's not like I read a lot of DC books anyway, but I was trying to decide, do I need to trying to streamline things. And Aquaman hopefully will stay on the list. What about a book that I know, or a family of book that Agent 70 has enjoyed in the past? What about Fantastic Four #1?
I did read this. I didn't put it on my list, but I did read this. How about you guys?
I read it.
Alrighty. So what'd you think?
It was fine. It set up. It introduced you to the family. You got to see each character's personalities. You got the sort of the glimpse of the what's to come in the future as far as how James Robinson is trying to deconstruct the team and put them in bad situations.
They're putting them in a really bad situation.
And I like the red outfits.
The red and black?
Yeah, the red and black. They're like the Wolf Pack. NWO Wolf Pack.
Hey, that's a reference I can get.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't even think of that. That's funny.
You know, I wanted to read this. I just haven't had the time yet.
Right. I was about to say, I won't spoil too much then because...
Is there really anything to spoil? They ain't really, they ain't really do anything.
I mean, you know what's funny is that it's hard to, like with the, with what happens at the end of the issue and what those... the beings that appear, it's hard to tell. Like they sort of they're reminiscent of certain beings, but they're not, and you're just trying to figure out if it is what you think it might be. So
I guess I'm not familiar with the FF, so I had no clue who those things were.
Right. But there's definitely like kind of a hint of what those things might be. But listen, it gets you to read number 2, right? See what happens. You know what? I was okay with the art on this. Who's this? Leonard Kirk. I was okay with the art. I wasn't enthusiastic about it. I was just okay with it. I'm willing to give this another shot.
I'm glad you brought up his art. I enjoyed his art a lot on this. He seems like the perfect Fantastic Four artist because after he did the Hunger miniseries in the Ultimate Universe, it was kind of cosmic, and I don't know. His artwork or his art style seems to fit a Fantastic Four book since they're more, adventure and exploring.
Right. I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. It's just not, like I'll have to see how the second issue strikes me.
Oh, and I guess it makes sense because I believe he did the art on a Star Trek book.
Right.
Or someone, I forget who the artist or the writer was, but I remember hearing he did art on Star Trek.
Huh.
No, I think you're right. I think I did see that. It might have been in the liner notes in the back.
I saw it in a couple of interviews, sort of promoting the book.
Right. Like they worked together, Robinson and Kirk.
You know what? It was the editor Mark Panacea.
Right.
He was the editor on the Star Trek book.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. According to the Memory Alpha Wiki, which is the Star Trek thing, he worked on the Deep Space Nine series for Malibu, which was bought by Marvel Comics.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he did 22 issues of the Malibu Deep Space Nine.
I miss Deep Space Nine, the show.
Yeah, I know. I love that show. But anyway, so he's done space. He's done cosmic. So it makes sense that he would do the Hunger series and then do Fantastic Four, yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm willing to give it a shot. Go into number 2, see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I'll try to stick around through the opening arc, and we'll see. I wonder which one of his books I'll enjoy the most. Just for All New Invaders. It's gonna be not really enjoying All New Invaders, or maybe Fantastic Four can pull ahead.
Oh, that reminds me of a piece of news. Dang it. You mentioned All New Invaders. I wanted to throw this out real quick. All New Invaders, let's see.
It's canceled.
No. There's an upcoming issue, Superior Spider-Man 30 and Avengers 27. They are going in Superior Spider-Man 30, I believe it is. They are reprinting She-Hulk #1 in the back of the book. And in the back of Avengers 27, I believe they're going to reprint All New Invaders #1. And it's going to be the same cover price, but they are reprinting the entire issue in the back of those books because those are 2 of the top-selling titles and they're reprinting these 2 new series that have not caught on like they thought they were. They didn't sell as well. So they are reprinting them in those without charging any extra to the people who buy those books in the hopes that those people will then jump onto those series.
I like the new She-Hulk.
How do they, I guess, well, the Diamond, of course, it'll be a while for the Diamond numbers come out for, I guess, February. Did She-Hulk launch in February or January?
It was this month, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
I mean, they know internally, because, I mean, they know what they printed. And then they always overprint to a certain degree, hoping that there will be reorders. People, I missed that #1. Can you order it for me? And that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you didn't hear a bunch. You heard second printings for Black Widow #1 and Punisher and.
Oh no! Wait, maybe it was Black Widow 1 and not She-Hulk 1.
I think it might have been She-Hulk. I think I might have read the same.
See, this is why you're supposed to pull up the news stories before you actually go on the air. It may have been Black Widow 1.
God forbid. Heaven forbid.
Actually, it might have been Black Widow. Now you think you talk.
That's strange because Black Widow, I like that. I thought that was well done, and I think the first 2 or 3 issues have been.
It went the second printing.
Yeah, it's got to be Black Widow 1 and Invaders #1 are the 2 that are being reprinted.
I can understand All New Invaders #1 because that's a tough sell so soon after Infinity,
And are they
jumping right back into that with this kind of World War II group?
Is the All New Invaders going to be included in the Avengers?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense because Cap's in it and whatnot.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway.
All right.
We want to list some more books, or we want to give clicks of the week?
Wait, I want to talk about.
There's one more I'll pick out too.
Oh man, where did it go? Oh, here it is. All right. The RoboCop series. A couple weeks ago, I talked about one of the issues that I really enjoyed, and the last 2 were not as good as that first one, but this latest issue was really, really good again. This is called Beta. RoboCop Beta, and this is the 4th one of the 4. So the first one and the 4th one I really enjoyed. The 2 in the middle were just kind of there. But what happens in this story is this takes place before the movie and before the RoboCop that we know, when they're kind of testing out the technology. Right. They go into basically the battlefield and overseas in Afghanistan or wherever, and a soldier basically gets killed, and they take his body and they put him into this RoboCop program that they're developing, and they make him as basically their first test run, and they're going to use him in the war scenario to see how he reacts and how well he does, to see if it's maybe something that they can do back home. So this is really the story of them developing that technology, and needless to say, things don't go exactly as planned, which is why there's a cover-up at the end, and you don't see this guy anymore. But it's one of those where one of the things that they touched on in RoboCop 2, the original Frank Miller story, is this idea that they tried to develop other RoboCops after the first one, and they always failed for one reason or another. And in the movie, they kind of trimmed it down to like this little, 2-minute video montage that was just, supposed to be kind of funny and whatever. But this really touches on that idea in a much more serious manner, and deals with this idea of, the ideas of RoboCop are simple. Like, what is life, and at what point is he a product, and what point is he a person, and everything like that. But this kind of deals with the motivations of, you have to have the right person in the suit in order to make it work. And when you take the wrong person and you put them into this type of situation, it's not going to work out for the best. And that's what this story is dealing with. So I thought it was a really well done look at the failure of the technology, and the reasons why, when you look ahead to these things, the guys at Google just put out a book like this last week, talking about the future technology they're building towards and how computers are going to be thinking for themselves by 2030 and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And, you know, this is kind of dealing with that idea of, like, you know, how do you really wrangle this technology and the you know, where's the moral code that you deal with on these types of issues when none of this stuff has ever been done before. So I thought it was really well done. It was very interesting, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Did you see the movie? The latest reboot?
I have not seen the whole thing. I have a screener.
Ah, fancy.
And I've only been able to watch about half of it because I can't watch it when the kids are awake.
Right.
You know? So, and I've had stuff going on like this whole last week with my roof collapsing and everything like that.
What?
So, yeah, we had.
What? We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
What?
So anyway, what I've seen of the movie I really enjoyed, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, this isn't the same RoboCop series where we got the creators to retweet it and share it.
Yeah, well, it's different creative teams on each issue.
Oh, okay.
So those guys only did that first issue.
Ah, gotcha.
Gotcha. All right.
I can't remember how they found it in the first place.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
You want to throw a book out to him? Because I got one last one.
Yeah, my last one is going to be Batman Superman number 8.
Oh, I think I did read that. Greg Pak, right?
Yes, Dirt and I were
and Jay
discussing
Lee.
it. We're discussing it before the show started.
Oh, so I think all three of us read it. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So this is the first contact crossover between Batman, Superman, and World's Finest. And apparently something's going on with Power Girl. Her powers are going crazy. And Huntress decides to contact Batman to get help. And of course, she's the daughter of Batman and Catwoman from Earth 2. And I thought Power Girl was the daughter of Superman.
No, she's basically Supergirl. She's the cousin.
Right, she's a cousin.
Yeah.
The cousin.
But there already was Supergirl here when she came here, so that's why she became Power Girl.
Gotcha. So I like how Pack writes this book where it's like at least not thought bubbles, but the inner monologue boxes are like Batman and Superman kind of talking over each other or thinking over each other.
Yeah, and how a lot of their thoughts they start the same, but then they come to different conclusions.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I got a
kick out of. There's a bit where what is it? Batman goes, tisk tisk, and Superman, just hears it. It's like the slightest sound. Batman's just like always rushing in.
And he's like, I know. He's like, I know. And he's like, I know Clark, or I know Bruce knows. I heard it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's a nice buddy cop, good cop, bad cop dynamic going on with those.
Definitely.
And I even like the stuff with Huntress and Batman. That was kind of nice too.
They go off on their secret James Bond mission to check this guy out and get some background information. I like their little, all right, go ahead and slap me, do it now, so they can cause a disturbance and do their thing. The one thing I didn't, I've talked before that when I notice like a flaw in the artwork, it drives me nuts through the entire book, and it hit me so much in this issue. I just could not focus on anything else, and that is there are literally no backgrounds in this book. Like, if they're in the Batcave, Jay Lee draws like a couple rocks and some bats flying in the top, and that's it. That's the whole Batcave.
And just like a dark, cavernous colors.
Yeah, he leaves it to the colorists to fill in that space. If, like, there's a village at one point that Power Girl crashes into, so he draws like 2 houses on one side and 2 houses on the other side and a couple palm leaves, and like that's it.
Yeah, like when Superman takes Power Girl where thousands of miles away from civilization, it's like a rock.
Yeah, it's just like this one lone chunk of rock out in the middle of nowhere. And it's like even when they go to this palace for this,
you don't see it.
Yeah, you just see a bunch of people, and then there's like a red banner hanging in the background, and that's how you know that they're inside, is because there's a red banner hanging, or it's just like as soon as I see it, I can't unsee it. They go into a room where there's a giant computer, so there's a big rectangle for the screen, and a bunch of black lines coming out that are supposed to be the cables, and that's all you see. There's nothing else, It's just, it drives me nuts. And maybe that's the way he keeps up with the schedule of doing a monthly book. I don't know. But, it drives me crazy when I see that.
I don't blame you. I sympathize.
I was actually going to say I actually enjoyed his art on this one.
I thought it was kinetic. I thought it definitely was moving. I definitely also appreciate wanting something more in the background. So I definitely feel
like I say, since you've mentioned that now, I'm just thinking back to the book, and there's not one background. He draws people fabulous. It's not the traditional style, but it's quirky enough where it's I can appreciate it.
Like I can see where he draws expressions well.
Right.
He does a pretty good job of doing the panel-to-panel flow, where, if your eye is supposed to move, from the left to the right, then there's something, a cape is flowing, or an energy crackle, or someone's arm is outstretched, so it draws your eye to that next panel. He does that kind of stuff okay, but just, it's like they're on a rock in the middle of the ocean, so you just have this rock kind of emerging out of nothing. And then the colorist went in and put some blue at the bottom, so you knew that was the ocean, and put some yellow at the top, so that's the sky, and that's it.
Right.
All right. Click of the week time?
Or
any last?
I just wanted to I'll do a quick blurb just in case anyone read. I forgot what number it is. What's the issue number for Indestructible Hulk this week?
It is 19.
19. What's cool is this is an Inhumanity kind of crossover, and I just wanted to mention there is I guess one of the antagonists in the book is harkens back to old Kirby and Lee Fantastic Four. I don't know if anyone remembers the Hive and where Adam Warlock basically comes from, and her. There's a bunch of panels and that have art that are callbacks, straight callbacks that you could probably find panels of old issues of Fantastic Four where they lifted a lot of the Kirby designs for the science tech that the Hive used to create Adam Warlock and all this other stuff. It was kind of a cool flashback to those books. You really need to go back and read those. Classic Kirby and Lee FF stuff all the way up to issue, like the first 100 issues basically. So, but that was a cool flashback. I just wanted to mention that very quickly. And my last book, and what's competing for Click of the Week for me with Aquaman number 28, because I'm enjoying the comeuppance, is Superior Spider-Man number 28. I am enjoying the comeuppance. I am. I am enjoying the comeuppance of one Otto Octavius. They're still teasing. Slott is still teasing in this book that whenever Peter Parker does regain control, he's not going to have all his old memories. He's not going to be able to just step right back into his old life.
And that's one thing that actually kind of bothers me, is Peter Parker's going through the mind, and there's only a handful of memories, like key memories that he can recall, but a lot of stuff is missing. And I'm just afraid that the new series is going to start, and this is going to be their excuse to do everything over again. Like everything that they've ever done, they're like, well, now we can do it again because he doesn't remember doing it the first time.
Right, or some variant of it. That's right. I
brand new day.
With that. Exactly. It's another brand new day. Right. It's a brand new day.
It's an all new brand new day.
Yes.
Now, all new brand new day now.
That's what it is.
just bringing up Superior Spider-Man reminded me that there was a um, there was a development brought up during the Superior Spider-Man run that I guess you remember the issue where, well, obviously Dirt won't, but maybe Agent 70 will, where um, there's the issue where Black Cat got arrested because of Spider-Man.
Yes.
I guess like supposedly that was going to be an important issue, and I guess the important part was at the end when Peter Parker, that professor, found out that he was stealing Otto Octavius's whatever his lecture notes or whatnot.
Right.
I guess that was the important part of the book, but I want to find out what happened to Black Cat. She was all mad and wanted to get revenge.
Who knows? She may have a part to play still. There's still a lot of cards on, there's still a lot of pieces on the board, even though on the cover of this there aren't very many pieces that are non-Goblin, on the chessboard. But there's still some key things that still have to fall into place. There were a couple of nice moments in this book, but like I said, the comeuppance is a lot of fun to read for me.
Plus, I want a Black Cat ongoing.
All right, that works. All right, so are we up to clicks of the week now?
We are. I can't decide yet. I've been sitting here trying to decide for the last.
Well, I was about to say I just introduced what my alternate click of the week pick would have been. I think my actual click of the week is Aquaman number 28. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I enjoyed that book. I had a blast reading it. So that is definitely my click of the week. This was, Superior Spider-Man 20, close second.
I think I'm gonna go with Batman Superman number 8.
Okay. What is that? 2 DC books we picked? Holy cow! That's a record. That's a record.
I haven't read Flash yet this week, so I'm going to also have to say Aquaman 28.
Oh, 3 DC books! Holy cow! Call Dan Didio.
Well,
Didio.
So actually, just 2 DC books. Since 2
that's right. But 3 picks.
Now I really gotta read this.
That's funny.
I had my iPad.
Yeah, well, and I think part of it may be the fact that the last 2 issues were okay, but I kind of felt like maybe they were building towards something, and in this issue there is so much going on, but it's so well laid out that I kind of
building up his power set.
Well, I kind of want to go back and read.
A real heavy hitter.
Well, I want to read those last 2 issues to see if maybe I missed something. Because with everything going on in this one, I know some of this stuff was kind of touched on in the last couple issues. So I want to go back and read it's so good. It makes me want to go back and read those to see if I missed something that's going on in this book that's leading towards what's happening in the future.
All right, cool.
So there you go.
There you go. Nice. Look at that. 3 DC picks on 2 books. My goodness. What is the world coming to?
Good stuff.
Okay, so that's our clicks of the week. So once again, make sure to go over to theclicknation.com to read all the various reviews and previous episodes of Comic Book Chronicles. Let's see, Arrow was awesome this week. Just want to mention that.
Okay.
Arrow's back, and I guess maybe next week Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will join in the fun.
That's right.
As Dirt cycles through the covers. So once again, remind everyone that we are live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Come on over and join us and watch live with us. Tweet at us with the hashtag Comic Book Chronicles, and if you use the hashtag throughout the week, maybe you'll have your tweets read on the air.
Yay!
Surprise! So follow us on our Twitter accounts. I'm at TimDOGG98 and at TheClickNation. Dirt is at PCN_Dirt. Agent 70 is at Agent_70. And Roddy Cat is at Roddy Cat, RODDYKAT. and at news nerds need. Right? Did I get that
There
right?
you go.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something else I was gonna add. Can't remember now.
What's up, Alyssa Milano?
Yes, Alyssa Milano. Hacktivist number 2 is out. Number 2. So next week, some more new stuff from Marvel. I think Magneto number 1 and Moon Knight number 1 come out.
Ooh, interesting.
Hopefully Marvel will get with it and fits their review site. Probably not.
Yeah, we've got a handful of books coming, but I'm not sure what all's there.
Cool. So with that, we will bid you adieu. This is the Comic Book Chronicles, and we are signing off.
Hey!